morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, when we left, I gave you certain admonitions. Does any juror have anything to report about those admonitions? If you do, raise your hand. Let the record reflect that none of the jurors have raised their hand. General, turn to
State would call Steve Williams.
Steve. State your name.
Steve Williams.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony about to give you the truth, all truth, and the truth. So
Yes, sir, I do.
Good morning.
Morning.
Scoot up close to the mic. Speak up loud.
Okay,
Thank you. There you go. You're Steve Williams, is that correct?
that's correct.
And you were previously employed with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. How long were you employed there?
Just under 34 years.
So back in February of 2020, were you working at the Sheriff's Office?
That's correct, sir.
And what was your position or assignment there within the Sheriff's Office?
I was lieutenant over criminal investigations.
And during that time in February of 2020, did you assist in the investigation of a missing child by the name of Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, sir, I did.
And specifically, did you participate in interviewing the defendant?
Yes, I did.
All right. Now, at the time at which you interviewed Miss Boswell, had other detectives already spoken with her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you aware, did you know what she had already told them?
Yes.
All right. So what was the information or what did you know about Evelyn's disappearance and Miss Boswell's involvement before you went in to talk with her?
I just knew that she had told that her daughter was missing, that it come in through DCS that her daughter was missing. And we was trying to follow up on her daughter being missing.
Okay. Where did you talk with her?
At the sheriff's office in criminal investigations division in the interview room.
Okay. And this interview room, does it have the ability to sit outside and listen to the interview as they're going on?
Yes.
All right. Did you listen to the interviews that were done by the other detectives?
Some of them and parts of them. I can't say I heard every one of them.
All right. And is this interview room located over at the Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
And is that here in Blumpville and Sullivan County?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you went in to speak with her, let me ask you this, what was your approach in speaking with her? Did you take a different tack than the other detectives had taken, or?
Well, I just went in and was just being nice to her and trying to talk with her. I reckon you'd say civilly and not browbeat her or anything.
All right. And was your interview with her recorded?
Yes, sir.
And prior to coming to court here today, did you have a chance to watch that interview?
Yes.
And was it a true and accurate recording of that interview that you had with Megan Boswell?
Yes, sir.
All right. Judge, I'm going to move to introduce that as Exhibit 182.
No objection.
And at this time, I would ask to play that for the jury.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Steve Williams. Hold on just a second, okay? Don't go nowhere.
I can't go nowhere.
They've been talking to you about your child.
Yeah.
And where is you? When was the last time you saw your child? I'm coming on to
Right after Christmas,
where?
Ethan.
Okay. And you say Ethan, does that mean Ethan's in Louisiana or Ethan's?
In Boswell. Like I told him, I don't know if he took and dropped her off somewhere right after I dropped her to him, but I don't know what's going on.
Where did you give her to Ethan at?
Boswell, I was your grandparents' house.
Okay. And what's his grandparents' name?
I know his grandma's name is Sherry, but I do not know his grandpa's name.
Okay. Have you ever been there?
Once or twice.
And you've met him?
I've met Carl.
And that's his grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you I didn't know his name, but as soon as you asked me, it spit around my mouth.
that's no problem.
Am
And
I gonna be questioned here all night?
no, we'll be done in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Why, you in a hurry?
I mean, like, no, but if they're gonna keep questioning me and keeping me lying, like I want an attorney.
Okay.
Because I'm not lied to them.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the last time you saw your child was at Ethan's, right?
Mhm.
And you took your child to Ethan's grandparents' house, right?
Right, but I never walked in, we stood in the driveway.
Okay. And what was you driving?
I was driving my Cruise that I don't have anymore. It was a red 2018 Cruise. It's like a little Chevy sedan.
Yeah. Okay. And was Ethan staying there?
I mean, I guess he was, I don't know. He just had me come up there.
Did you see Ethan there?
Yes.
And did you see his grandfather there?
No. Me and Ethan stood outside and talked. Kind of like away from the house.
Okay.
Like the house was like over here where he parked his car was like towards the trees of the house. And we were standing like towards this side of his car.
Okay. And you dropped that bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And
Put the car in his car and everything.
what kind of car was he driving?
A 2018 Nissan Versa. It's black.
Okay. And then that was Christmas Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after Christmas Day, do you communicate with him
He
any
won't talk to me.
further?
On New Year's Eve, and sort of on New Year's, I guess, me and him argue back and forth.
On text message or,
No,
or actual?
On the phone.
Okay. So actually talking.
Yes, he would get mad and hang up, and then I'd call back, and he'd answer for a little bit, get mad and hang up, and just quit answering.
Did he say he had Evelyn in?
And I left him tons of voicemails, and I was like, look, like, if you want me to leave where I'm at, like, I'll come spend New Year's with you and Evelyn, like, I just want to be there as a family, you know what I mean? But I'll come to where you are.
Where was he at then?
I think he was at his friend's house.
Who's his friend?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Friend around here or friend?
Friend around here.
And you don't know who his friend is?
He doesn't tell me anything.
Okay. How long have y'all dated before?
Like 3 years, maybe 4.
But you didn't
3
know
years,
his-
yeah.
And you didn't know his friend?
No, I was never allowed to be around any of his friends.
And then, did you ever call him and say, hey, where's Evelyn? It's been,
I've tried to
2
call
weeks.
and he won't answer. I would leave voice messages, he wouldn't call back. And honestly, like I was telling them, like I had Evelyn for like over a year and he never checked on her and I had to support her by myself. So when I got here, I was like, you can take care of your daughter for a little bit. Not that I don't love my daughter, want to be with her, you know what I'm saying, but I was like, you don't help me at all. Like I want you to see how it feels, no help.
so he didn't help you financially or
No.
taking care of her?
No.
He was in the military.
Yeah, like he would never even be like, hey, like, is she okay? Or like try to check on her, help me at all.
Does
You
he
know.
live in a house down there?
I don't know.
And you don't know where she's at? And the last time you saw her was Christmas? Right.
Right.
Have you went to his grandparents' house? and asked
Yeah,
them
but
where
nobody was there when I went.
she- Okay. Have you called them and asked them where she's at? Okay. And what brought you here today?
I guess my dad called.
So you still haven't heard from her, but somebody's called about her,
Yeah.
right? And you have no idea where she's at? Okay. Have you tried to find her?
I mean, yeah, like I called, you won't answer me. I didn't know he went back to the army until today. Like that was news to me when they came in here like, oh, he's from Louisiana.
Have you went to court
No.
to try?
To be honest with you, I was really trying to be civil over it, and like I said, I supported her for like over a year, and I was like, if you want to keep her for a little bit, like that's fine by me, you know what I'm saying? My mom had a baby when I was like 12, 13, I don't remember, 2013, so I guess I was 12. And like I had to basically raise him. She know when I was 15, like I had to basically raise her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like I had 3 kids all the time.
Okay.
And I was like, it's his kid, if he wants to keep her for a little bit, like, by all means, you know what I mean, I'm all for it. And like I said, something I love having her, want to be with her, but it's just, you know what I mean, is what it is.
Does he have a girlfriend?
Ethan? He might, I don't know, he used to. She lived in like, I don't know if they were dating, let me take that back. He was talking to her, but she lived in like really sketchy apartments in Kingsway, like the government housing one. I'll say her cloud, but I guess that's torn down, so I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm-mm.
So if you was guessing where she was at, where would you say she was at?
I don't know if he dropped her off somewhere or somebody or what he did, so I don't know.
Well, would they have to be somebody he trusted to
Right.
draw from? So who would you think that he would trust besides his grandparents?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I didn't know he really talked to his grandparents that much. Even never told me anything about his personal life. Like, especially after he got in the army, like, he just was not talking about it. I don't care how much I tried, he just was not talking about it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And also, when he was in the army, he'd go, like, months without talking to me, I told him.
Well,
Before and after I had one.
no, if you're in the military, sometimes you're out in the field and stuff like that, you can't just.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but sometimes he would just get mad and just not talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, long periods of time. And I know that wouldn't be.
Right. Okay. So if you could help us right now find her, where would you tell us to look?
I don't know who Ethan hangs out with.
Does he have Facebook?
Yeah.
Does he go lost on Facebook?
Not really.
Do you have Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have communicating on Facebook?
He does not respond. I think he blocked me on Facebook now and blocked me on Instagram. So he didn't want to talk to me.
Did you participate in any other interviews with the defendant?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you do anything else as far as the investigation was concerned?
I assisted other officers in the investigation.
You continue to do other things?
That's correct.
Thank you. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. Thank you for asking. What time did you take this interview?
I don't recall what time of day it was. I think it was in the evening.
Okay. It's my understanding at this point that Megan had been interviewed by Tracy Haraz, a DCS worker, and then later by Michelle Gillen, and then you. Is that correct?
I couldn't tell you the exact order of the people who went in and interviewed before me or after me. I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Your interview in those other interviews that day, they were basically a continuation of the same interview with different people. Was that?
There were several officers and agents that or several officers that interviewed that day.
Okay, but was it basically a continuation? I've talked to her, now you go talk to her and see if you get more.
Yes.
At one point, she asked you for an attorney,
No, sir.
but you didn't feel like she did.
No, sir. She said, if this happens, I want an attorney.
Okay.
She didn't say I want an attorney. She said, if this happens, I want an attorney.
You had instructed her not to go anywhere.
The sheriff's office is a secure facility, and we can't have people walking up and down the halls of the sheriff's office.
Okay, so she wasn't free to leave the room she was in.
If she wanted,
Well,
Overruled for now.
after she asked for an attorney, let me ask you this: had she been Mirandized?
yes, she had.
Did you do that?
No,
You know who did?
no, sir,
How do you know she had?
because we'd seen the interview. And we wouldn't be in there talking to her if she hadn't been Mirandized.
But you don't know who did it, and you can't say that you did it.
I can say that I didn't do it.
You can say that you didn't do it, right?
That's correct.
But you can't say who did.
No, sir.
And as it relates to her question for an attorney, and this will be kind of my last question on that, you didn't stop questioning her. You said, do you want to talk to me? You continued asking her questions, correct?
That's correct, because she never asked for an attorney.
Was that the entirety of the interview we saw?
Yes, I was walking out the door and she asked me if she needed an attorney, and I can't answer that for her.
So she asked you about that again?
She asked me if she needed one, and I can't answer that for her. She's 18, old enough to go in the military, old enough to fight in war, so I can't answer that for her. She's an adult.
What time did you come on shift that day? Do you know?
I usually come to work at 8 o'clock, but I can't tell you that day. It was probably 8 a.m.
I'm just trying to nail down the time period.
It would have probably been in the evening if I was guessing, late afternoon.
By late afternoon, you mean before 6 o'clock?
It would have been right around 6 o'clock if I was guessing that day.
Okay. Mr. Williams, thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Can you read it? There you go. Is he free to go? Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you for your testimony. Your election understanding is ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
State would call Joey Strickler.
Raise your right hand. State your name.
Joseph Strickler.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please tell us
your, actually just spell your last name for us for the record.
Strickler, Strickler.
Okay. And where are you currently employed?
The Second Judicial District, District Attorney General's Office
Okay. How long have you been employed there?
since September of 2021.
Okay. And what is your title there?
Victim Witness Coordinator.
Okay. And prior to that, were you employed in law enforcement?
Yes. Sullivan, excuse
Okay,
me.
go ahead. Tell me where. Yeah.
Sullivan County Sheriff's Office,
Okay. What was your title at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office?
Captain over Criminal Investigations.
Okay. And how long had you been captain of criminal investigations?
I was with the department for 30 years before I retired, and two different occasions. It was several years.
Okay. So could you give the jury just a brief rundown of your experience with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office?
I started out in as a when I graduated from college, I started out as a corrections officer and worked my way up to a patrolman, and from patrolman went into detective division, and then worked my way up through the ranks there to being a captain over the criminal investigation division.
Right. And were you employed in that capacity in late 2019 and early 2020?
Yes, I was.
Did you assist in working the case of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Do you recall what your role was in this investigation?
Was the captain over criminal investigations. My main duty was administrative, and basically what I was doing was being a conduit between our agency and the FBI, the TBI, the district attorney's office, the staff and command of the sheriff's office, and also helping out any way that I can with making sure they had the resources they needed and the manpower.
Okay. So you're essentially a liaison between the different agencies that were working this investigation.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you personally interview Megan Boswell at some point?
Yes, I did.
And was that on February 20th of 2020?
Yes, it was.
Okay. That day, did you conduct more than one interview of the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. How many?
2.
Okay. To your knowledge, and you may not know this, had the defendant been interviewed by anyone else that day prior to you speaking with her?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Where did these interviews take place?
The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office Detective Division's interview room.
Okay. And is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
Was the interview video and audio recorded?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And who was present during the interview?
Myself and Miss Boswell.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity prior to court to fully watch both interviews in their entirety?
Yes.
Okay. So first we'll go to the first video. Is that a fair, since you've watched it, is it a fair and accurate representation of the first interview you conducted with Megan Boswell on February 20th, 2020?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number
183.
183.
Any objection?
No, sir.
And then permission to play it at this time for the jury.
Just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Joey Strickler. I'm the captain of criminal investigations. They called your boyfriend Hunter,
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be, I reckon he's supposed to be picked up. So,
I was wondering when my mom didn't.
oh, you want your mom, not him?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. Take care of
Okay,
that.
well, can I ask you something you answer me honestly? Okay, so like when I got on the other cop's car, he was telling me like Hunter had like orders of protection against him or like domestic assault or something.
I can find out. I don't know.
Can you tell me that?
Oh, I could tell you that if I knew it, but I can find out for you.
Can you?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean like he does, like I just really like, don't want to be around that kind of person, you know what I mean?
I don't blame you.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find out for you. Give me a second. Call right now.
It's not no long game.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah. You know, I've been watching, those videotapes. I've been watching it. I've been doing this a long time. I've been a cop for 30 years. And it breaks my heart to see a young lady like you, and you have a child. We don't know where it's at.
Did you watch me cry? I was trying not to cry and then.
That's okay, though. That's okay, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, you have a Maggie, is that right? That precious little baby's somewhere. I don't know. And I honestly believe, I want to believe that you would tell us in a heartbeat if you knew where that child was at. And is there any way that you can think, maybe help me to find that little baby?
I really don't know. I'm sorry to tell you I was crying.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay? It's okay. I know you've not seen her in a while. And I know, we've been talking to Ethan. We've had him on the phone. We've had his captain on the phone. We've been talking and trying to find this baby. Is there any way that somebody has that baby that's a friend of yours or a family member that's afraid that if they're afraid to tell us, or they're afraid that you'll tell us, so they want to keep.
I don't know if you know that I dropped her off the river what happened. So I was trying really hard to cry, but I was like thinking about her, I dropped her off, and she's asking what she was wearing and stuff like that, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. I understand. Please, we're just trying to find out what happened to that little thing. And, I'm a daddy, and it breaks my heart to know that this child could be with someone that don't love it, that don't take care of it, or God forbid something bad's happened to that baby. And, the thing about it is, everybody's going to point back to you because you're the mama, and you're the mama that let the baby go. When I say let the baby go, I mean, you're the one that took the baby and said, here.
I know, but I was scared to her dad, and I thought it was okay.
You say you thought it'd be okay. Do you think something's happened to it?
I mean, no, but I didn't think that, I wasn't going to see her for months at a time or something like that. What I did, when all this started happening, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be my mom just to try to, solve myself. I don't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that person who does all that, you know what I mean? And, I just learned her for over a year by myself. And I was like, if he wants to keep her for a little bit, it's fine.
But how old are you, Max?
18.
You're just a young lady yourself. You're a brand new mama, and you're thrown into a different world, wasn't you? And I can understand you feeling that way and saying, hey, I just want a little bit of time to myself, a little bit of time to be me before I have to be a mama. And you had all these things that happened so quick to you, it's, bless your heart. My heart goes out to you, but I'm telling you, we gotta find that little thing. We've gotta find her. And do you remember when she broke her arm? Somebody said she broke her arm.
I don't know if she actually broke her arm or not. I just know it was bruised. I never saw it, so I don't know.
You never saw the bruise?
No.
And did this happen after you had gave her to you? Okay. Well, now, when they say that you dropped the baby off at his parents,
His grandparents.
his
Me and
grandparents,
him stood outside. We didn't go in.
and where was the baby at?
On my hip. And then I let her kind of go to him to get used to him. And I stayed about 30 minutes and she was fine. So I left.
So did the grandparents ever come out?
No.
They never come out?
No.
Okay. And then that was the last time you seen her?
No, I saw her the next day.
You went back and seen her
Just for a second. Me and brought into it. He told me to leave.
Okay, who was with you when you went back?
It was just me.
Just you. Now, was you dating anybody during that time after you left?
Hunter, but I didn't really tell me if Ethan were into it.
Okay, so you went from Ethan to Hunter. Okay. Okay, how long did you know Ethan? Can you tell me a little bit about him? I mean,
I met him
know
my
what-
freshman year of high school,
Where'd you go to school at?
Central.
Okay. Okay, so you just graduated last year?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so, wow. And where'd you meet Ethan at?
at school.
So he went to Central also. Okay. And then he got in, he joined the Army, is that correct? Okay. Hmm. So the last time you seen your daughter was sometime around Christmas, the day after that you dropped him off, you went and he didn't want to let you talk with her, be with her or anything. Was there a confrontation or anything? He just basically ran you off or say, hey, you're not talking to my
I think he
baby?
just basically ran me off.
Okay. When you all met down in El Paso, when you went down there, did you all just meet down there and you turn around and come back home with
No, I
him?
stayed for a little bit. He didn't come back home until a couple weeks
So
after.
did you bring the baby back with you? You had the baby with you, you
Yeah.
brought it back, okay. And then where was you staying at that time?
My dad went to trailer park and I was staying in one of his trailers.
Okay, okay. And your dad's Tommy, okay. So you stayed at these trailers and in the trailer park, where's that located at?
You know where Sugar Hall Road is?
I sure
It's like
do.
on the corner of Sugar Hall and Boswell.
Oh, yeah, I know where that's at.
They're like storage units across from it.
Yeah, that's up there close to Moody's, the restaurant, or little restaurant place.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you stayed there and then you moved down there and moved in with Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Hunter ever see the baby?
Yeah.
Hunter
Not
see-
much, I won't lie to you, just because I'm
That's
worried
fine.
about bringing Evelyn around people, you know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
And also at the time, I'm not gonna lie, like Hunter told me he was on probation, we didn't tell me before, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, iffy on who I bring her around, you know what I mean?
Okay. So you was thinking that you're doing the best for your baby by
Not having her around.
him and
And I know that sounds bad, but like now that I know him better, I don't think he's that person, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? But I only known him about like a couple of weeks when I'm there with him, you know, he's kind of like kicking me out, you know,
okay.
never had him real good.
But that led you to, I guess what I'm trying to say though is, that was a natural route for you to go as far as if you wanted someone to watch Evelyn was take her to Ethan,
Yeah, her dad.
her dad. Okay. Okay. Wow. We're fixing to send out what's called a nationwide alert. So we're trying to find this baby and, I don't know what's gonna happen. I just pray to the good Lord above that we're gonna find her, and we're gonna find her alive, and find her well taken care of. Because I've been doing this a long time, and the worst thing that's ever had to deal with is the death of a child, or a baby that's been hurt, or a baby that's been abused. And I have a lot of nightmares about that. And it's been too many to count through the years. And all I want to do is stand up for that little baby that may not be able to stand right now. And I need your help. I do. I need your help. And if you can think of any way, fashion, or form, to know where that baby's at, or where, just point me in the right direction. Please tell me. Please tell me. I want to bring it back in. Bring her back in.
I don't know.
Is there any way that you can you tell me a reason why that you didn't reach out since Christmas to the family to try to find Evelyn and talk to her? Just see nothing, even put her on the phone, let me speak to her.
Because I was really just trying to resolve it between me and Ethan, to be honest with you.
You just what?
Just trying to resolve it between these two.
So, what do you, tell me what you think? What do you think happened?
I don't know, I think they got her in contract for someone else one.
You think you could have hurt her?
No.
Did you hurt her?
No.
Would Hunter hurt her?
No. He never get like mad and like threaten me all the time, but he never actually like did anything, you know what I mean?
Did he ever show any aggression or anger toward your little baby?
No, I don't know, no.
You never seen that?
No.
You said that she had a bruise on her arm earlier. How did she, do you know how the bruise happened that you think is, maybe,
Fell off the bed. That's what I was told.
where at?
And Ethan.
Did that happen? Did you ever see the bruise and stuff? You never did see the bruise of the broke arm or anything like that? So you did have some telephone conversation apparently
Yeah.
with Ethan about her.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is weird because I think that we're being told is that by him, he's like, I'm not seeing her.
He has seen her, I swear to you, he has.
And when you last time you seen that little thing,
On Christmas Eve, he had her then, but I had her for a little bit on Christmas. So me and my family told her we went fishing forage and we spent the night. And he that Christmas Day, and I got her stuff that I got her. And I got, like the stuff that my brother got her and stuff, and I took it to him.
they're on off of Hartown. Did you get to see her that day?
I
What
had
did
to
you
put a
take?
couple hours.
What did you take to her that day?
I don't know what my brother got her, but I got her like a little horse and like baby shark stuff, their clothes and stuff like that.
So sad. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to lead to. Like I've told you before, I've been doing it a long time. And in cases like this, the fingers point toward the mama. And it points toward you because for one reason is that you willingly took the baby to Ethan's. I understand why. I mean, you're telling me why you did that. But then, of course, he's not saying something didn't happen there. It was not right. That's what he said, of course. We got to find the baby. We've got to find Evelyn. Got to find her. Take care of her. And if it's a situation where, you know, that you don't feel like that you can take care of her, then I promise you, we'll find some people to take care of her, that little thing for you. And I promise you that. We'll do everything we can to get you help and get her help to take care of her. But we've got to find her.
What do you all find her? Does this mean I won't fantasy over anymore?
No, it doesn't mean that at all. Does not mean that at all. But I can tell you this, if you think for a second, that little sliver, that you might know where she might be. Well, hey,
Ladies and gentlemen, go with the officer, please.
You may be seated. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead and pick it back up.
I mean, be around that. If he's an abuser and stuff that you didn't know about, you don't need to be around that. And, you know, we'll find out. And I'll find out if your mom can come back with you, okay? And
I don't know the number of Hunter has it.
has it.
Hunter does the song, I was thinking to call him, tell her to come get me.
Oh, okay, tell her, okay. We'll find out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so now moving to, well, prior to the second interview, you stepped out for a few minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Any idea of how long you were out before you came back into the room?
I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember?
No.
Okay, and that's fine. So the second video, you also had an opportunity to watch it in its entirety,
Yes.
and it is also a fair and accurate representation of the second interview you conducted with Megan Boswell on February 20th, 2020.
Yes.
We'd ask that that may be made exhibit number 184, please.
Objection. All right, the full exhibit 184.
And permission to play it for the jury.
I have, you know, I got some, been a couple long time, and I've got some my own opinions about this stuff. But, just something that's not adding up. It's just not adding up. And, you know, if there's something that you think in your mind, anyway, that's an form that you could think.
Well, I was talking to Dad today. He's already come small and that she's having all this story goes down. She's gonna have to disappear. That she's gonna go to jail. I don't know what's going on.
Your mom had that something?
I don't know. That's all he told me today. I don't know what's going on.
So Tommy told you that
And all this started going on, because he called her the night before he called you all, and he told her what he was gonna do, and then she said, well, you can't do that, this is what he told me, like, I'll have to disappear, I can't come back, you know, I don't know what, I hope she didn't do anything too.
So, but I thought Ethan had the baby.
I thought he was too good, but this is just what I told me this morning, I promise you, I talked to him on the phone, on my way down here, because I called my grandma first, I wanted to stop down there for anything up here. I've never had any talk to you, know, he called me, he started telling me.
So Tommy told you that he has talked to,
No, this was before he called up here,
okay, but he has talked to your mom.
a couple days ago. And that, he told me that he lied to her, well, and me, and said that DCS was going to do a whole visit on Elijah because he thought that she was going to renounce her.
And so he basically, but what he said to Angel, man, help me with this, but he told Angel that he was gonna send DCS to,
And all that and stuff, and he told me that she said, oh, like, I don't have to leave, and like, nobody can ever find me again, like, I'm here to chill, and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I thought he was biased, that's just a lot for us to say.
Okay, and then Angel said that she was gonna run, but she was gonna leave and stuff.
Well, that's what she told Dad apparently. His dad told me that, he lied to her and said that DCS was gonna come do a checkup on Elijah so he could get him from her, my little brother. And then when they met at Eagle, that, like, she was crying and, like, wouldn't say anything to Dad or anything like that.
Okay.
And she was got freaking out. I'm sorry, I just always had, like, so much faith in my mom and the fact that even the thought that she would do anything just really, like, I'm sorry, that's why my first question was, hey, have you all talked to her? Then yesterday, the whole way up here, she was like, bitching at me, saying that, like, I won't lie, I lied, she didn't run out of gas, she just wanted to listen.
I knew.
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't tell them, that's hard work, so you wouldn't tell them the truth.
I'm sorry. But she was like bitching at me and saying that she was going up here, she didn't want you to be like seen, blah, 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 stuff like that.
You didn't want it.
Want to be seen,
She wanted to be okay.
stuff like that.
Do you think she's in that car, that BMW?
Yeah,
Was the last time you seen her, she was in the BMW?
yeah, so she got me out the animal shelter.
Oh, okay. That was the day that you walked up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Was McLeod with her?
Yeah,
Did he drive or did she drive?
he used to drive.
Did he usually drive?
He was driving that day.
Okay, and whose car is that? Whose Beamer is that?
Well, Hunter gave it to her, but he didn't get the title on it over there.
Okay, so that car should be in Hunter's name?
I think it's his brother's name, that's why he didn't get the title on it. It was Hunter's car, but Tanner was gonna buy it, and then Tanner backed out on it.
And is it not bad that you be wrecked or something in front end?
Yeah, on like the passenger side fender well, I guess. Like it's kind of like popped out, and it's kind of bit into the headlights. You know. A lot different on that side.
Okay. But that's who it should be in, okay? And,
Well, Tanner's first name is Austin. I mean, I don't know if you all know that, but it's Austin.
I'm sure we got that. And McLeod usually driving?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions with that, because I'm just trying to clarify things. Are they just ate up the dope?
I mean, he is. I don't.
Listen, if I'm gonna tell you something, Maggie. I've got a girl, I've got a daughter, and my daughter she's old now, she's 25 years old. But I love my daughter dearly. I wanna ask you something, do you love your little girl?
Yeah.
But I'll call your heart.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, that's what I'm getting to. Then we need you to help us. Because everybody, we're trying our best to find her. You know, and I'll be honest with you, I don't care one bit about putting anybody in jail or anything. I want her back. If I can get her back and we can get you straightened out in your life and everything good together, y'all can come back together again. There's no doubt in my mind we can work those things out. No doubt in my mind we can work those things out. But we gotta get her back.
I know.
And so, with that being said, I just want you to be completely honest with me. No more feelings or anything like that. Completely honest. Are they running dope? Are they just using heavy? What's their drug?
They're just using. She doesn't. I don't know what she does. The only thing that she'll admit to me is that she's very far.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know, to be honest with you. There were a few times that, like, Dad and I would went there, like Elijah, when she'd be with them, like that, and she had birds on her and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know, like, if that helps at all or anything, but I mean, she don't, like on her arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
does she go by Angela or Angel?
Angel.
So if you had to, uh, uh, if you had to lay it all on the table, okay, I've got one shot to find my baby and to get my baby back, where would you go?
They were trying to take me up in Mendoza yesterday before I came in here, and I kept telling her, like, turn over, get up on the road. If you won't take me up there, I'll call them, they'll come get me.
They won't take you to Mendoza?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Do you have any friends in Mendoza?
No,
You ever been to Mendoza?
no.
But they want to take you there. They won't take you there yesterday. It was different.
Well, they wouldn't tell me where we were going. I just saw the road sign. Let me take that back.
I understand. So what route stop is it?
Like, State City Highway, one that had like the other layer, where it's like Mendoza, and it's like 5 miles away or something like that.
Okay.
We were headed in the direction of Mendoza. I mean, maybe they weren't like, we take me there, but that's just what I thought. Like, they would not tell me anything.
Okay. Does he have any ties to people over there in Virginia?
As far as I know, all his family's from North Carolina.
Have you ever, gone to see his family in North Carolina or anything like that? Okay. So, when I asked you that question about laying it out there where you might be going, if you had a chance to get your daughter, to find your daughter,
Well, Dad keeps saying that Mom knows something. That's why she's like, you know, not answering anybody, kind of disappearing.
now, you know, I know that you said that you gave Evelyn over to Ethan.
So Mom also told me that she talked to Ethan since then.
Your mom has talked to Ethan since.
That's what, I don't know, like 110%, that's just what I've been told.
She told you that? Angel told you that?
Yeah. If you want questions her and find her, then please not tell her that I like.
Oh, absolutely. Don't you
Okay.
worry about that. Let me tell you, don't worry about it. I want her. I want your baby back. Okay? I want Evelyn. I want her back. Safe and sound. I want her. I mean, those pictures of her. That picture of her and you. I'll be honest. I got left in my wall of my office of you and her. So that makes me want to go that much farther and try to find her. Okay? And it breaks my heart to know that she, I don't know where she's at. You know, could she be with someone else? Could they be treating her good? I mean, is she okay? That type of thing. And then on the other side of the coin, oh dear God, could somebody have killed her? Could that little baby be in a ditch line somewhere, or maybe in a trash pile, something like that? And that's what flop is. And so, but you said Angel has talked. She says that she's talked
Yeah.
to. She's talked to Ethan, and you're pretty firm that you gave let Ethan take care of her right at Christmas. Was it Christmas Day or
No, it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve?
Me and my family went to Pigeon Forge and I dropped her off before we went.
This your little girl did not go with you to Pigeon Forge.
But me, Hunter, Dad, my brother, his wife, and like their kids with.
Where'd y'all go to when y'all went to Pigeon Forge? Just ask them.
We went out to eat at Olive Garden, and then we went for a go-kart, and then we all stayed at Margaritaville Island Inn.
I stayed there before. It's pretty nice place. So You come back on Christmas Day,
Yeah,
and then you went back over, did you see her on Christmas?
yeah.
Okay, so you went back on Christmas Day,
I had her Christmas stuff.
did you get to see her? Did you let you hold her or anything? What time did you go over on Christmas Day?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I went to my brother's, picked this stuff up probably at like 4 or something, so I guess it was after that,
So you took presents to her
you know.
at Eaton's. And you took them over and, did you get to go in or did you just?
No, he always made me say that about it.
And then you took the little girl Christmas presents, and then you got to hold her a minute, and then you gave her back.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you just didn't say, come on, you're going back with Mama.
She started reaching for it, but I didn't want to take her from him.
She started reaching for him.
Yeah. I just thought she wanted to be there. I didn't want to take her. And honestly, like, I just wanted to pray. That's all I wanted.
Who took you over there?
Hunter rode with me. Not Hunter sat in the car. Not exactly at the bottom.
But you drove and
He drove back.
but you drove over. And
Yes, he drove back. This is my cruiser I had it. I'm sorry for not as much as I can hold together the past 2 days.
You've been through hell and back, and you're still in it. You're still in hell. I mean, you really are. The whole fact of not knowing where your baby is at. Oh my gosh, and I know it's heart wrenching. And you know, when you left on Christmas Day, did Hunter and Ethan say anything with each other?
No.
Okay. And,
Hunter didn't get out of the car. Well, Hunter only got out of the car and walked around the front to get in the car. On the driver's side.
okay, and you what did you say? You pulled out a little bit. You just walked back in with.
I knew they where he was standing at the top of the driveway.
And then he was just holding her when you pulled away.
Yeah.
Did y'all have any words or anything? Any anger
I
words?
mean, we argued, yeah.
What did you argue about that day?
Well, I called him and I was like, I want to come see him for a little bit. And I was like, if you don't want to go with me, that's fine. We were at Griswold's house. I was like, just let me know. I'll bring him. That's fine. You know, like, I don't care. Like, I just want to see her at Christmas. And he got mad because I brought him with me. But I asked her, I told her I didn't mean to piss him off.
Okay.
And every time I argued again, because I'm a lot of you, he asked me, like, if I had any more diapers. And I was like, yeah, but, like, I took care of myself for a year. Like, it's your daughter. You can buy her back of, like, freaking diapers. I'm sorry, I don't know about it. So I don't want to do without anything. It's just, you know.
So Christmas Day, you're saying is the last time.
No, I saw her the day after that. That's what he said.
When did you see her over at Ethan's then?
Yeah. He was pulling out the driveway and I pulled in for him to pull out.
He had her with.
He got me out for second me because we're arguing because he's like, you can't just show up here and stuff like that. And I mean, we just got into it escalating there. And then he told me that I had to leave or even call the cops, so I left.
how the other one act? Can she tell me?
She didn't like reach for anything. I need to talk to them. I'm sorry.
Was anybody with you then? Have you talked to Ethan much after that?
I talked to him on New Year's, and he wouldn't let me come over. Or New Year's Eve. If I say New Year's Eve, it's New Year's Eve, like the 31st. I'm trying to talk to him, he's just not really like answering me, but apparently my mom told me that she talked to him.
You think your mom talked to him during that time right there?
She told me she had been talking to him.
So you not talked to Ethan, you talked to Ethan on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
And Ethan said that, your mom been talking to him.
No, she said that.
I'm sorry. Mom said she said been talking to him.
Yeah.
And did he ever tell you that she did call him?
No.
Think you would hurt? You think Ethan would hurt?
My mom?
No.
No.
You don't think Ethan would hurt him?
No. I feel like if you did do anything today or someone who thought to take care of me, I don't think you would.
Okay. How is Ethan and your mom? Were they cordial? Would they talk? Would they get along?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't necessarily like go out their way to talk, you know what I'm saying? There was like a few times where they like talked over text over the years. I mean, I'm sure that, you know,
Okay.
3.5, 4 years.
Okay. If you've known Ethan a long time, you'll have.
Yeah.
I know this is going back a little bit, but I mean, how long has your mom and Tommy been separated? The reason I'm asking that is because I'm just trying to figure out,
Well, okay, they got like a divorce, I think, in like 2014, 2015. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I think it was 2014, but Charlotte wasn't born yet, that's my little sister. But they had a baby after that. I mean, they were like living together and stuff like that. But if you're talking about as far as like divorce
Legal,
or something,
yeah.
I think like 2014.
when did they finally make the split? And, you know, Tommy and your mom, and she go her way and he went his.
Whatever his Ashley's birthday, I think it was June of 2018.
Oh, this has been relatively fairly recent then. Okay.
Yeah, it was June 2018, after Ashley's birthday, that.
June 2018.
I don't know I think June 2018, I don't know the exact date. It was at the beginning of June.
Okay.
I know that, I was over there on Father's Day, and she was there. So she hadn't been there before she was 14, because that was Father's Day, right?
It is. Mhm.
Yeah, so she hadn't been there before that.
All right. If
They weren't living together for like a long time, because they were all in apartments in like Poplar Ridge. They were definitely like talking and she got they got to them, stuff like that. They just weren't like legally together.
have you you've been living down with Hunter, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And you live in, I know you live in the trailer
yeah.
over in down near Boone's. I can't pop hang out and go there and eat all. So you lived there, and then after that you moved in with Hunter. correct?
Yeah. I stayed in hotels with you guys.
Right, I understand, yeah.
But
But that's basically, if I had to put a timeline of where you live and stuff like that, that's basically.
yeah. Up until around like March 2018, from February to March, I was with my dad. Or until April, yeah, and then I moved in with them all the way up to my grandma. From April, and I stayed with her all the way through October.
Okay. Okay. So between, so basically,
There were a couple nights when my mom was at a hotel and I could stay with her, but as far as like living wise with it, it was like my mom.
and then she's the one that lives where?
At the mom and dad, you know, the one,
Down Bay
I'm three and all.
So you live most of May Creek, what do you call her?
Oh, mommy. Oh, mommy. I used to call her old mommy when I was little because she practically raised me.
Oh, mommy, okay. You live there with her from when you say?
April to October. I stayed a couple of times with her. I burned out my trailer though because I'm an elsewhere. There's a cop that lives right up the road from me that actually made me feel a lot better. So after I seen his car there, I was like, I won't be too bad.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there's a cop that really like my neighbor, and I was like, it's fine.
good, okay. Now, okay, so, and then after that, when you
I got my
you
trailer
took your
a
trailer.
little bit for Halloween.
Okay.
Because I trick or treated like maybe a couple days before Halloween with my cousin Ashley, not my ex-girlfriend. This is different Ashley.
Okay,
And like, I remember I took pictures of her in her little costume, and she was at the floor.
okay. You know, people ask questions, of course,
Yeah.
and you know, I know that the last singer on the 26th, okay, and on the 26th, on the 26th, okay, your wife, I missed out. So all this has transpired. If you had to answer a question like this, someone comes to you and says, hey, why don't you call somebody?
Mom was talking to me, and she told me I should try to resolve it with being easy. And that's what I was trying to do, and she told me she was trying to talk to me about it.
You did it again.
Stephen, thank you.
All right, gentlemen, you can continue.
Your Honor, that was the end of that video clip. We just wanted
Okay.
to double check.
Yes.
We can go ahead and submit that to the court reporter. It was exhibit number 184. Okay. Okay. Anything else that you did personally involving this investigation other than continuing to be a liaison between the different agencies involved?
That's it.
Okay. Please answer any questions the defense has for you.
Thank you, Judge. She kind of stole one of my questions. This is the absolute only involvement you had in this case. I'll go back to that a little bit, other than, I guess, your administrative roles as a liaison.
That's correct.
And these two interviews that you initiated or done with Ms. Boswell, those both the same day?
Yes, sir.
What date was that?
February the 20th.
Now, did you Mirandize her?
No, sir.
Were you the first person to interview her on the 20th?
If there was more after me, I believe so.
So you believe you might have been, would that have been the first interview we watched?
I think so.
And that would have been before Detective Gillum or Lieutenant Williams?
I'm not for sure of the time.
I'm sorry, I think those were different dates.
Well,
I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
that's okay. Do you recall anybody else interviewing Megan that day?
No, sir.
So it was just you and you alone?
I believe so.
And then you interviewed her a second time on the same day?
That's correct.
And how much space was in between those two interviews? How much time?
I'm sorry, I don't recall that.
Well, I'm not trying to trick you, but is it an hour, 2 hours, or just?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
That's okay.
You interviewed her on the first one, and I imagine you stepped out of the office for some time. Would that be a fair statement?
I been 5 years. I'm sorry. I can't.
That's okay. You eventually come back and interview
That's
her.
correct. That's correct.
She never left
No,
and came back for a second interview.
not to my knowledge. No.
Be safe to assume she just sat there until the second interview occurred.
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember what time that was?
No, I sure don't.
What would have been your normal duty hours that day?
With an investigation like that, it could have been at any given time. I don't know. My normal work day would be like 0800 to 5 o'clock in the evening, but it could have been prior to that or even after.
Possibility these interviews could have occurred after 5 p.m.
Yes,
You just don't know.
correct.
Fair enough. I just second, Judge.
Yes.
Be fair to say, though, that your second interview would have essentially been a continuation of the first interview with attenuated by a brief amount of time.
That would be fair to say.
Okay. And you said you'd been a detective, actually the captain over the detectives. You were the captain of that little division, so to speak,
Yes,
both literally and figuratively in rank.
yes,
And I imagine you've conducted a lot of interviews over your years in law enforcement.
yes.
At the onset of this first interview, we hear Megan ask about her boyfriend, and you indicate that he's coming down to see her.
Yes,
And she represents she doesn't want that to happen.
correct.
Did that have any significance to you as an investigator?
No, not at that point. During the course of the investigation, I was doing my best to either get new information or to clarify other information. So when she said that, that's when I believe I stepped out to ask to have a phone call made by another detective for her.
And would that be to just prevent the boyfriend from coming down?
She was wanting to see her mother, if I remember correctly, wanted her mother to pick her up.
And not her boyfriend.
Correct.
And that never resonated with you of why would she not want that?
Objection to speculation.
Sustained.
Okay, Judge. Can I just say? Really what you were interviewing about on this day was essentially the same subject matter, a missing child that Detective Raz and Lieutenant Gillum interviewed her
Yes,
on.
sir.
So that was the focus of all of these interviews.
Yes, sir.
And so whether you interviewed first or they interviewed later, they would all be a continual interview over a matter of time.
It was a continuing effort.
I'll take that. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
Thank you. Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Is he free to be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony. You're released from your subpoena. You're free to go. All right, next.
They will call Jeffrey Blanton.
Raise your right hand. State your name.
Jeff Blanton.
solemnly swear affirm testimony about you give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
So your name is Jeffrey Blanton.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And your last name spelled Blanton. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed by East Tennessee State University.
Okay. And what is your title there?
I'm the Associate Vice President of Administration and Operations
Okay. How long have you been with ETSU?
since January of 2021.
Okay. And is that where you were employed in late 2019 and early 2020?
No, ma'am, it was not.
Okay. Where were you employed during that time?
By the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Okay. In what capacity?
At that time, I was the supervisory senior resident agent in charge of the Upper East Tennessee.
Okay. And how long did you work for the FBI?
Just shy of 25 years.
Okay. Were you always employed with Upper East Tennessee Division?
No, ma'am, I've traveled other
Okay.
places.
Okay. Were you a member of the state or Safe Streets Task Force?
Yes, ma'am. I actually started the Safe Streets Task Force in Johnson City in 2012. And during 2019, I supervised the Safe Streets Task
Okay.
Force.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, the Safe Streets Task Force is made up of federal, state, and local officers and agents. And the purpose of the task force is to combat violent crimes. The typical violent crime you think of in bank robbery, drugs, extortions. And we also got involved in crimes against children as it relates to the Lindbergh Law from 1932.
Okay. And were you employed in that capacity on that task force along with the FBI when you were asked to aid in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Okay. What were you tasked with doing?
Detective Strickler from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office notified me that there was a missing child in Sullivan County under the tender age, which by statute is 12 years old.
Okay.
That gives the FBI jurisdictional authority to assist local agencies in trying to find that missing child.
Okay.
So I actually didn't have any agents available to come talk with Detective Strickler. So myself and another task force officer came here to the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and met with Detective Strickler in regards to missing juvenile.
Okay. So in order for it, to make sure I'm clear, in order for the FBI to be able to have jurisdiction and to provide aid, it needs to be a child 12 years of age or younger.
By our policy, we use the Lindbergh Law, the tender age law of 12
Okay.
it gives us jurisdiction to work those cases.
Okay.
However, we're not restricted by that if someone asks for help either.
Okay. So tender age being 12 or under
young-
12?
Or younger, yes, ma'am,
Okay.
that's correct.
And at some point in the investigation, did you yourself speak with Megan Boswell, the defendant?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Was anyone else present when you spoke with Megan Boswell?
Yes, ma'am. Task Force Officer Todd Wilcox
Okay.
was also present during that interview.
Okay. And what agency was Todd Wilcox employed with?
Todd was assigned full-time to the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, but his home office was the Irwin Police Department.
Okay. And on February 19th, 2020, is that when the interview took place with Megan Boswell, with Todd Wilcox being present as well?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And where did that interview take place?
That interview occurred here at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And where in the sheriff's office did it occur?
There was a room, I'm going to assume it was an interview room outside of the detective's offices.
Okay. Is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Was this interview video or audio recorded?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury why it was not?
Certainly. FBI policy does not allow us to audio or video record interviews outside of FBI space.
Okay.
If we are in FBI space, then certainly that's an option, but this interview was not recorded.
Okay. Let's see. Do you know how Megan Boswell got to the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office that day?
I don't have She volunteered, she spoke with me, she said voluntarily, but I'm not sure exactly if someone dropped her off, if she
Okay.
walked there. I don't know if she got
Okay. So you sat down with an interview with her, and what did she tell you regarding her missing child, Evelyn Boswell?
She told me and Agent Wilcox that she had last seen Evelyn Boswell on December the 25th of 2019.
Okay. And where did she say she had last seen Evelyn?
She last saw Evelyn at the residence of Ethan Perry's grandparents. I believe their names were Carl and Sherry.
Okay. And did she state that she left Evelyn there? Or did she state that she took Evelyn back after she went to that residence?
Yes, ma'am. I'll back up a little bit. The 25th is the last time she said that she saw her.
Okay.
She did tell me that she dropped her off at the residence on the 24th of December, the day
Okay.
before.
Okay. Was she able to give you an exact address of where she said Ethan was staying?
No, ma'am, she could not.
Okay. Did she say when she went to Carl and Sherry Perry's residence whether or not anyone was with her?
When she dropped Evelyn off on the 24th of
The
December,
24th. Okay.
yes, ma'am, she indicated that she did that alone, that no one was with her when she
Alone.
dropped her off.
Okay. Did she tell you what she did after she dropped Evelyn off that day?
Yes, ma'am. She informed me that she and her family then went with her boyfriend at the time, a fellow by the name of Hunter Woods.
Okay.
That Hunter and her family went to Margaritaville in Pigeon Forge, spent the night in Margaritaville, and then came back to the Sullivan County area on December the 25th.
Okay. Okay. Did she tell you if she went back to the Perry's residence after she dropped her off on December 24th?
Yes, ma'am, she did. She indicated that she went back on the 25th.
Okay. Did she say why she went back?
Yes, ma'am. Upon returning from Pigeon Forge, Margaritaville at Pigeon Forge, Ms. Boswell indicated that she stopped by Tommy's house, I think Tommy Boswell Jr., if I
Okay.
remember correctly, and picked up some Christmas presents for Evelyn Boswell.
Okay.
On the 25th, she and her boyfriend, Mr. Woods, took the presents to the Perry's residence to drop them off for Evelyn.
Okay. And did she say whether or not they went into the house that day?
Ms. Boswell indicated that Mr. Woods did not go with her up to the residence, that he dropped her off at the end of the driveway. She walked to the residence, and that she did not go into the house that day.
Okay. So she indicated that Hunter Wood stayed at the end of the driveway.
That's correct.
So did she indicate that they didn't even pull up to the top of the driveway to the house?
She indicated they did not pull up to the top of the driveway.
Why did she say that she wouldn't pull up to the top of the driveway?
She had some concern that Mr. Perry and Mr. Woods may get in some sort of argument or altercation. Therefore, Mr. Woods stayed at the bottom of the driveway, and Ms. Boswell went up to the residence alone.
Okay. Did she indicate that she spoke with Ethan that day?
She did, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she indicate whether or not she saw Evelyn that day?
She indicated that she did see Evelyn on the 25th, but according to memory, she saw her on the 25th, but less than an hour.
Less than an hour. Okay. Did she indicate whether she saw anyone else at the residence that day?
No, ma'am, she did not.
Okay. And did she indicate that she went back to the residence at any time after that?
I don't have a recollection that she went back. I know she tried to make contact, she said, with her daughter Evelyn later, but I don't recall she going back. She went back to the residence.
Okay, so it's your belief that the last date was December 25th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To your knowledge, did she tell you whether or not she'd ever left Evelyn with Ethan Perry prior to this time?
I don't recall that she indicated she had ever left her daughter with Ethan Perry prior to this.
Did she talk at all about the fact that Ethan was in the Army.
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay. What did she say about that?
She told me that Ethan was in the Army, that he was home on break, and she was going to let her daughter Evelyn stay with Ethan, who she indicated was his biological father, for the holiday.
Okay.
And that he also indicated that his contract was up or was soon to be up with the Army.
Okay. Okay, so after that date, December 25th, did the defendant indicate that she continued to go over to Ethan's house to try to see Evelyn?
No, ma'am, she did not.
Okay. So did she tell you she did not try to go back over?
Yes, ma'am. I recall having a conversation, and she said that she called, I think on New Year's Eve,
Okay.
but that she did not see Evelyn. There was some discussion she indicated between her at some point. I don't know if it was the 24th or 25th. I don't recall specifically. Maybe both days. She said they did get to an argument that Mr. Perry said that he was going to try to get custody.
Okay. So she's telling you that Ethan had threatened her.
With attempting to get custody of Evelyn, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Did she show you any proof of any custody paperwork at any time?
She did not. I recall asking her who the biological father was on the birth certificate, and she indicated that it was not Mr. Perry. But I don't have any recollection of who that person was,
Okay.
if listed on.
So at some point she told you Ethan Perry was not the father.
Not listed on the birth certificate.
Not listed on the birth certificate. Okay, I apologize. Okay. So did Megan ever say why she hadn't contacted law enforcement when she could not get in touch with Ethan Perry?
Yes, ma'am, she did. I asked that question, and she said that because Mr. Perry had made threats that he would attempt to gain custody of the child,
Okay.
that she was fearful if she went to law enforcement that would further anger him and bolster his case about getting custody of the child.
Okay. Okay, so Megan has told you that she's never left Evelyn to stay with Ethan before this date. Did she ever explain to you why she felt like it was okay to leave Evelyn with essentially a stranger to Evelyn?
She indicated that she was, I recall her using the words worn out,
Okay.
that Evelyn was attached to her at the hip, and
Okay.
she needed a break, that she had taken care of Evelyn for a year, and she felt like it was time for Mr. Perry to step up,
Okay.
and that she had also been taking care of her father or stepfather's children, other children in the home,
Okay.
and she was tired.
Did she indicate whether or not she could handle Evelyn herself?
She indicated she was just getting too much to handle. Yes, ma'am.
Did you explain to Megan Boswell that the repercussions of lying to an FBI agent?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did she indicate that she understood?
Yes, ma'am, she did verbally.
Okay. Did she ever tell you she wanted to correct any of the information that she had given you?
No, ma'am, I went through all of the information in the notes that were taken and read them back to Miss Boswell, and she indicated she had nothing to correct.
Okay. So she continued to say that everything that she told you about Ethan was true.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am, she
Okay.
did.
During this interview, can you describe Megan Boswell's demeanor?
Yes, ma'am. Megan Boswell was very matter of fact, completely unemotional. It seemed to be unattached to the gravity of trying to locate a 1-year-old child at the time. She did show some emotion, began to tear up a little when I told her that she could be charged with a felony pursuant to lying to an agent if what she was saying was not true.
Okay. Okay, so after that date, as the investigation continued, were you able to confirm whether the story she was telling you on that date was true or not?
At a later date, yes, ma'am, I was able to confirm that she had not been truthful with me during that initial interview.
Okay. Please answer any questions the defense has for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop.
Good afternoon, Mr. Blanton. My name's Gene Scott. How are you?
Great, sir. Hope you are.
Thank you. What time of day was it when you arrived at the sheriff's department to conduct this interview?
It would have been in the afternoon. I can't give you an exact time, but I recall Detective Strickland calling me. I was actually sitting at my desk. So it was in the afternoon, if I recall correctly.
And as I understand it, it was at your behest that the interview was not recorded in that room. You had the cameras turned off because of FBI policy.
Yes, sir. The FBI, we take copious notes and document thoroughly and go back over with the person we're interviewing to make sure the person is true and accurate in what we have documented. And our policy at the time, and I've been retired for a few years, but our policy at the time was not to record those interviews.
Okay.
Not unless they occurred in FBI space.
Prior to conducting this interview, had you watched any other interviews of Megan Boswell with law enforcement?
No, sir, I had not personally watched any.
Okay. Had you been made aware of other interviews with her?
It seems like Detective Strickler may have spoken with her prior to me speaking with her, but I don't know the gist of those interviews.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Redirect,
No, Your Honor.
is he free to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony.
Yes, sir.
You're released from your subpoena. Next.
State would call David Gratz.
Raise your right hand, state your name.
David Gratz.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Okay, please tell the jury your name and please spell your last name for them, please.
My name is David Gratz. It's spelled Gratz.
Where are you currently employed?
I'm an attorney in the private practice of law.
Okay. And prior to that, where were you employed?
By the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
When did you first start with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
In August of 2019.
Okay. And what was your title during that time?
I was a special agent criminal investigator.
Okay. Can you give the jury a brief summation of what that job entails?
Yes, I was assigned to the criminal investigation division. So it's what a larger department might call like a major crimes unit. So we investigated things like death investigations, missing persons, adults and children, officer-involved shootings, and public corruption.
If you can also just give the jury a brief summation of your education up until the point of starting your first job.
So I graduated from East Tennessee State University with a bachelor's degree in 2011. I continued on and went to law school at Lincoln Memorial University School of Law and graduated with a law degree in 2014. And do you want me to go into my first employment?
Please.
My first position was with the District Attorney General's office in the 3rd Judicial District, primarily assigned in Morristown.
Okay. And then you went to the TBI thereafter. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And were you employed with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in February of 2020?
Yes, I was.
And were you called to assist in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, I was.
Which agency requested the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's help?
Initially, it was called in by the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office for us to assist in an investigation of a missing child. And later, we were formally requested in writing to assist by the District Attorney General, Barry Stollis.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm handing you a document. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
This is a formal request for investigation, commonly issued by district attorney generals throughout the state to request the TBI to investigate facts and circumstances of a potential crime.
Okay. And is that how the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation essentially is officially called in to investigations?
In a lot of what CID does, yes, we are requested by the district attorney general.
Okay. And on this specific request, what were you being asked to do?
It's essentially just to gather the facts and circumstances of the whereabouts of a missing child. That
Okay.
was Evelyn Boswell.
Okay. Were you given any background information to help you start your investigation?
And like most cases, you receive very little background information. Initially, I was just essentially told that she was missing, that her mother had been located, and law enforcement had talked to her at that point. And I think that's about all I was told initially.
Okay. And we can pass that back. We're not going to put that into evidence. I just wanted you to be able to see that document.
Thank you. Thank you.
We approach her.
This is.
We pass you a document.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask if you recognize that document.
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
This is essentially a standard form made by TBI in Nashville of an Amber Alert poster. And it was issued specifically for the victim here, Evelyn Boswell.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of the Amber Alert that was prepared and in regards to missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, it is.
We'd ask that be made exhibit number 185.
Would be exhibit 185.
Defense. And permission to publish, Your Honor. Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions about this. You said this is the Amber Alert that was sent out in regard to missing child Evelyn Boswell. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do you recall when the Amber Alert was issued?
Yes, it was in the evening of February the 19th,
Okay.
2020.
Okay. February 19th. Okay. And where does that go? Does that go just to the state of Tennessee, or how is the determination made on how far that would go?
That's a question that I don't specifically know the answer to. I
Okay.
know they are issued statewide.
Okay.
I know depending on the location, it can travel over into different states at times.
Okay. And the information on the bottom of this, it's pretty small print.
I can see it.
Okay, you can see it, okay?
I can.
Is the information listed here, where had the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation taken these details that are listed on the Amber Alert?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand your question.
Where did you get the information that Evelyn was last seen wearing a pink tracksuit?
That information was provided to us by the defendant.
Okay. Where did you get information about a BMW?
Also from the defendant.
Okay. All right. Okay. So after the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was assigned, can you give a brief description of how you, let me back up one step. What was your role in this investigation with the TBI?
I was assigned as the TBI case agent
Okay, so that means essentially the lead case agent over the case for the TBI.
for TBI, yes.
Okay, so after you were assigned this investigation, can you give us a brief description of how you conducted your investigation?
So initially, you just arrive on scene and you try to get as much information as you can. You talk to the people who have already been there, find out what they have done. You talk with the local agency or agencies that are already involved, and you really just try to understand what's going on in the investigation and what has been done so far.
Okay, and were you working with other agencies at this point?
Yes.
Okay, which other agencies around February 18th, February 19th?
When I first arrived, it was TBI was on scene at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office with Sullivan County, and I believe they were members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation on scene, FBI.
Okay, and how do you meet? How did all these agencies coming together? How do they decide how to execute a plan in an investigation like this?
In the initial phases, you really do the best you can, but it oftentimes goes to either the case agent or the highest in chain of command that is on scene, and they get together and decide which agency will play a role in what, and you just divvy up tasks.
Okay. as part of what you did you go to the trailer that Megan Boswell lived in with Evelyn prior to Evelyn going missing?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember when you went to that trailer?
That would have been the evening of the 19th
Okay.
of 2020, February 19th.
So the same day the Amber Alert went out.
That is correct.
Okay. Anyone go with you to that trailer?
Yes, investigator Tracy Haraz with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
Why did you go there?
We were going initially to meet a young man named Austin Feller.
Okay. And did the defendant still live at that trailer?
No, she no longer lived there.
Okay. Was anyone living in that trailer at the time?
Yes, there were current tenants who had moved in.
Okay. If I could please see exhibits number 49 and 50. I'm going to show you two documents that have already been introduced into evidence. Is this the trailer that you were describing as being the defendant's trailer?
Yes,
Okay. Just another view. Is that an accurate view of that trailer?
it is.
Okay. And do you know the street address for that trailer?
I believe it's at 976 Sugar Hollow Road.
Okay. Is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
It is.
Okay. Were you able to determine who actually owned the trailer?
Yes, I believe it belonged to the defendant's family, either her dad or her brother, some type of association owned it.
Okay. Were you able to determine if the defendant had left any property behind when she moved out?
Yes, we learned that there was still some property at the site.
And were you given consent to search that site and or anything attached to that property?
Yes, we were given consent to search a small outbuilding that was right there next to that trailer.
Okay. And did you also conduct a search outside the trailer?
I did, yes.
What were you looking for?
Any signs of disturbed dirt, anything that would lead us to believe that the victim may still be there, or anything that would lead us to her current whereabouts.
Okay. Did you find Evelyn?
No, we did not.
Did you find anything else that was significant to the investigation regarding anything associated with Evelyn?
Well, we did inside of the shed that was next to the trailer.
Okay. So what did you find in the shed?
A stroller that had been left behind.
Okay. I'm going to show you two photographs. Do you still have the photographs?
All right, objection's overruled.
Yes,
you.
I do.
You still have the photographs? Okay,
I do.
okay. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
What is it?
These are two photographs of the stroller we found that evening.
Okay. And were you able to determine whose property that was?
Yes, this belonged to the defendant.
Okay. So when you say belonged to the defendant, you found it where again?
In the shed that's essentially not attached, but very close to the trailer where the defendant was living.
Okay. So it did not buy, you said there were new tenants in that trailer.
That is correct.
Okay. They indicate that was their stroller.
No, they,
Objection sustained.
Did you locate anything else of relevance to this investigation inside the shed?
not that I can recall.
At this time, we're gonna, well, let me ask this. The photographs, are they fair and accurate representation of how the stroller appeared on that date?
Yes.
Okay, we'd ask those be made, if possible, collective exhibit number 186.
The collective 186 of the defendant's objection.
Permission to publish. Is this the stroller that was inside the shed that day?
Yes, it is.
Is this just a side view of that same stroller?
Correct.
Did you also take the stroller itself into evidence?
Yes, we did.
Okay. If, Your Honor, may he step down for a second?
Yes. It was on TV. You click on the-
If you could step down to where the microphone is. And I'm going to ask if you can identify this piece, if you can recognize what that is.
Yes, I recognize that.
Okay, and what is it?
It's the stroller we found at the defendant's former trailer.
Okay. We'd ask that be made exhibit number 187.
Be full exhibit 187, over objection.
And Your Honor, would you like for us to fold that up? They're not always the easiest. Ooh, good job. Do you need help? Just roll it up, see if we can roll it under the table. That'll work. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So I'm assuming, was law enforcement working long hours during these first few days?
Absolutely.
Did you attempt to interview the defendant about Evelyn?
Yes, later that night.
Okay. And what would the date have been for that?
When we attempted the interview, it was on February 19th of 2020.
Okay. And about what time did that interview start?
Shortly before midnight and continued on into the early morning hours of February the 20th
Okay. Where did it take place?
at the sheriff's office here in Blountville.
Okay. Was this interview audio or video recorded?
I believe that interview was audio only recorded.
Okay. And is that office that you interviewed located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Prior to talking with the defendant, did you Mirandize her?
I did.
Did she agree to speak with you?
She did.
During this interview, did she tell you the last time that she saw Evelyn?
Yes, she did.
Okay. When did she say she last saw Evelyn?
The day after Christmas on the 26th of December, 2019.
Okay. Where did she say she saw Evelyn?
At Ethan Perry's grandparents' house.
Who did she say Ethan was in relation to Evelyn?
She had told us, or the defendant being she, had told us that Ethan Perry was Evelyn's father.
Did you talk with her about where Ethan was living?
I did, yes.
Okay. What did you tell her?
Told her that, we had learned that Ethan was full-time in the military and was currently living on a base in Louisiana, I believe, and was living in a barracks on a base.
Had law enforcement already talked to Ethan at this point?
Yes, they had the Army's branch of CID.
Okay. And did you tell the defendant that?
I did.
What did you tell her about Ethan and Evelyn?
I essentially just told her that law enforcement had cleared that idea that Ethan had Evelyn inside of a barracks. And
Okay. Did Megan stay with that story about Ethan?
at that time, she maintained that all she knew was that Ethan had Evelyn.
Okay. And where did she say that she had been living?
As of recently, she told us, the defendant told us she had been living with her boyfriend, Hunter.
Okay. Did you ask her if Hunter could have hurt Evelyn?
I did. I asked that specifically.
What did she say?
The defendant said that Hunter would not do that.
Did you ask her if Hunter had been around Evelyn at all?
I did, yes.
And what did she say?
Essentially, no. At that point, she said Hunter had never been around Evelyn.
Okay. Did she say if Hunter had ever babysat Evelyn?
We were told by the defendant that Hunter never babysat Evelyn.
Did she say if Hunter had ever held Evelyn?
The defendant told us that Hunter had never held Evelyn.
Okay. Did you ask her if Evelyn had ever stayed at Hunter's house over on Sandy Point?
Yes, I asked her about that, and the defendant told me that no, Evelyn had never stayed over at Hunter's residence.
Okay. Prior to when she said she left Evelyn with Ethan, did she indicate whether she'd ever left Evelyn with Ethan in the past?
She told us that Ethan had never kept Evelyn alone prior to that day.
Okay. Did she tell you whether or not Evelyn had met Ethan before?
They had been introduced, I believe, briefly prior to that day on a trip to Texas.
Okay. Did the defendant tell you how many times she'd seen Evelyn after leaving her with Ethan in December?
I believe that we had talked about that, yes.
Okay. Do you recall how many times she said she'd seen Evelyn?
I don't think she had seen Evelyn at all after that December 26th date.
Sorry to object. I'll not make the objection. We approach the bench.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have you go with the officer.
I'm trying to remember where we left off. Give me just a second. Okay. I think we had left off on me asking you if the defendant had told you how many times she had seen Evelyn after leaving her with Ethan. Is that the last question I asked you?
I think we were somewhere in that area for
Okay.
sure.
And do you remember what she told you?
I believe what she said was that she had not seen Evelyn since that day.
Okay. Did she tell you that she had been trying to get in touch with Ethan?
I think she said she'd reached out to him maybe one time, once or twice.
Okay. Did she ever tell you that she was getting worried about Evelyn and her safety?
No, I think she said she just hadn't really given it a lot of thought.
Okay. Did you ask why she hadn't contacted law enforcement?
We did.
What'd she say?
I think she just said she didn't really have a good.
Sustained.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, when I ask you a question, if you don't know the answer, you don't have to tell me.
Sure.
We try not to speculate with words like I think or things like that. Okay, so I may back up just a few questions
All
and
right.
ask you those questions again. Okay. Did Megan say she tried to get in touch with Ethan after the last time she had seen Evelyn?
I know she said that, yes.
Okay. Did she say she ever got worried about Evelyn and or her safety?
She said she had not.
Okay. Did you ask her why she hadn't contacted law enforcement?
We did ask her that.
And what was her response?
Specifically, I don't recall what she said.
Okay. What was her demeanor during this interview?
I would describe it as just very nonchalant.
Okay. And on this same day, do you recall being present when she was interviewed again?
Yes.
Okay. And was anyone else present during that interview?
Yes.
And who was present?
At the time, it was Sergeant Matt Price.
Okay. Was the interview audio and video recorded?
It was.
And where did it take place?
It was also at the sheriff's office.
Okay. And is that in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
It is.
How much time had passed from the interview we just talked about to this interview that we're getting ready to talk about?
Something like 8 hours. The interview we initially discussed ended at around 3 a.m. The interview at the next day was around midday, noon.
Okay. So you said the first one ended around 3 a.m. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what time do you believe the second one began?
It was around noon the following day, the
Okay.
20th.
Okay. Without going into the details of that interview, we're going to go ahead and jump ahead to the following day, February 21st. Was the defendant interviewed again on February 21st?
She was.
Was anyone else present for that interview?
Matt Price,
Okay.
sheriff's office.
Okay. And was that interview also audio and video recorded?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Prior to that interview, had the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation collected some of Megan Boswell's property from the residents of Hunter Wood?
Yes, a couple of our agents had collected some of her property.
Okay. And did Megan Boswell give you consent to search and collect those items?
She did.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Okay. Okay. Let's pass you some items from evidence. Would you prefer, I'll just send back,
Scissors up there.
There's a pair of scissors.
or do you want?
Thank you.
If you could, just, there should be some gloves up there. Do you see gloves up on the table?
I do. I'm putting them on now.
Okay. Oh, yeah, two of them already there. Tell me the number. Who else can you see? Okay, you have that one opened?
No, I was sort of waiting on you to
That's
ask a
okay.
question.
If you could go ahead and open that item. Okay, can you tell me what that is?
This is a small Polaroid type picture that the defendant described was taken at I believe that one was the Blowing Rock trip in North Carolina.
Okay. And to your knowledge, is there a date at all on that? There may not be, I don't know.
This photograph does not have a date on it.
Okay. And where did you obtain that photo? Was that from, where was that photograph obtained from?
It was from a box of belongings belonged to the defendant.
Okay. We'd ask that be made exhibit number 188.
You want it back in the
May we publish, Your Honor? Permission to publish? Okay. And how did you know what this was a photograph of?
At the time during the interview, myself and Sergeant Price were sitting there with the defendant, pulling these items out, asking her to describe these items to us.
Okay. And she described that as being from Blowing Rock.
That's correct.
Okay. Oh, actually, I want to see.
Can I get that exact photograph?
Okay, again, I'm going to ask to open it and see if you can identify it.
All right.
Okay. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
These are a couple of the brochures the defendant described as coming from the trip that they had taken over to North Carolina, they being the defendant and her boyfriend, Hunter.
Okay. So how many documents do you have in front of you?
3.
Okay. And what are they individually?
One is titled The Official Visitor's Map and Guide to Blowing Rock, North Carolina.
Okay.
Another one is Mystery Hill, which has a map of North Carolina. North Carolina's natural gravitational anomaly.
Okay.
Another one is North Carolina's oldest tourist attraction, the Blowing Rock.
Okay. If you could slide those back in, I'm going to show them to the defense really quickly. Your Honor, we'd offer this as exhibit number 189, please.
Any objection? No. Collected exhibit 189.
And where did you find those brochures?
They were with the defendant's belongings.
And where were, when you say the defendant's belongings, where were those belongings located?
Inside the residence of Hunter Wood.
Okay. I see the next. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
These are photographs of the defendant and Hunter Wood.
Okay. And is that also something that you collected from her belongings?
Yes.
Okay. Is it any, does it appear, well, if I could just pass those back first and let Mr. Scott take a look at those. Okay. May we approach?
All right, sustained in part, overruled in part.
And we'd ask these be made
Collective 190.
190. permission to publish.
Go ahead.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of one of the photos that you took from the defendant's property?
Yes, it is.
Were these located within anything?
They were inside of a box that the defendant identified as hers.
Okay. Same thing with that one?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
This is a card titled Thinking of You with Love.
Okay. And does it have any names on it?
Yes, the names on it are Maggie and Hunter.
Okay. And can you tell the jury where that was collected?
It was with the defendant's belongings.
Okay. You could pass that back, please.
We resolved it.
We resolved it.
Resolved it.
You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
These are photographs of the victim, Evelyn, 2 photographs of Evelyn, 1 photograph of Evelyn with the defendant,
Okay. And where were those found?
with the defendant's belongings.
Okay. If you could pass those back, slide them back in the envelope and pass them back.
Sustained.
You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is a receipt from the Olive Garden on Northeastman Road in Kingsport, Tennessee.
Okay. Was that also taken from the defendant's property?
It was.
Okay. Okay. We'd ask that be offered as exhibit number 191.
Exhibit 191.
If I could have it passed back to the witness briefly. Forgot to ask you, what is the date on that receipt?
Is January the 11th, 2020.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask if I could please have, and you saw that exhibit with you? You can pass that back down to the clerk. And then ask if exhibit number 29 or 21 can please be passed to the witness. No, sorry, not 21. I'm wrong. Hold on. It would be number 91. Sorry. I'm going to ask if you could take a look at that. And see if you recognize that.
Yes, I recognize this.
What is it?
This is a shirt that belonged to the victim, Evelyn Boswell.
Okay, where was that found?
It was inside what the defendant referenced as a baby box.
Okay. And where was that baby box located?
It was with the defendant's belongings.
At where?
Hunter's residence.
Hunter's residence, okay. Your Honor, we had previously marked that exhibit as number 91 for ID only. We'd ask that be made a full exhibit at this time.
No objection. Which one is it?
Agent Gratz, I'm going to ask for you, well, let me ask the court, may I publish it, Your Honor? Agent Gratz, I'm going to ask for you to take it out of the package and show it to the jury, please.
Do you just want me to hold it up?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stand up so everyone can see it. Thank you. Okay, thanks. No. I'm going to ask if exhibit 92 could please be passed to the witness. Same thing. I'm going to ask if you could open that exhibit and see if you can identify it. Don't show it to the jury yet.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
This is a child's blanket.
Okay. And does it have any special features on it that are identifiable? What type of blanket is it?
It's a shark blanket.
Okay.
Baby shark.
And where was that located?
It was with the defendant's belongings.
Okay. At Hunter's Woods residence?
Yes.
Okay. And was that also in that box that you're referencing?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, that had been previously marked as ID only. We would ask that it be made into a full exhibit.
No objection. Exhibit 92. Now you can.
Okay. May we publish it, Your Honor?
You want me to stand up again?
So long as the court is okay with that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So before we went through all of those, we were talking about that interview from February 21st with Sergeant, now Lieutenant Price. Was that interview audio and video recorded?
Yes, it was
Where did it take place?
at the sheriff's office.
And is that in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
During this interview, you discussed a second ago the term memory box. At some point, did you have an interview with the defendant regarding this memory box?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you tell the jury a little bit about, just briefly, what you did with the defendant?
During that interview, we had what the defendant referred to as the memory box, and we pulled items out of it sort of one by one and had the defendant identify what each item was and the significance of each item,
Okay.
if any.
And what was your purpose in doing that?
You know, at that point, we were just following whatever leads were coming in. We had received that property, and we were trying to identify what it was, determine how it was relevant, and also establish a timeline for the last known whereabouts of Evelyn Boswell.
And did the defendant freely and voluntarily go through that box with you?
Yes.
Okay. Give me just 1 second. Your Honor, may we approach?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll go with the officer.
For just a second. It should be on the far right on that table. Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to ask for you to open that back up. Should be brochures from Blowing Rock. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. If you could look into those brochures and see if you anything that indicates a date.
There's a receipt here.
Okay.
The date indicated is January the 19th, 2020.
Okay, thank you. Okay. That's all I need from that. Thank you. Can I ask if you can open that up and see if you can identify it?
Yes, this is like a memory book that says "Hello, baby" on the front, and it appears to have an ultrasound.
And where was that found?
It was with the defendant's belongings,
Okay, at what location?
Hunter's residence.
Okay. Okay. We will ask to be moving that as exhibit number 192.
Any objection?
No objection for our agreement. That's great.
Full exhibit 192.
And what I'm going to do right now is just ask for you to, Your Honor, may we publish this to the jury, just the front of the book? Okay, you could just hold up the front of the book so the jury can see the front of the book, please. Okay, thank you. And we briefly talked before the break. Is that the book that we were discussing in regards to that interview?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you can pass that back to the clerk. At some point, did the defendant tell you someone other than Ethan allegedly had Evelyn?
She did. Yes.
And who did she allege had Evelyn?
After a period of time, the defendant told us that her mother, in fact, had Evelyn Boswell.
Okay, is
Her
that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And her mother's name is Angela Boswell,
Okay.
also referred to as Angel from
Okay.
time to time.
And were you able to locate Angela Boswell?
Yes, she was located
And where was she located?
in Wilkes County, North Carolina.
Okay. Was she with anyone?
She was with a man named William McLeod.
Okay. Did Angela have Evelyn?
No, she did not.
Okay. At this point in the investigation, had anything led you to believe that Angela had Evelyn at any point?
No.
Okay. Did you yourself end up going to North Carolina?
Yes, I did.
And why?
To interview Angela Boswell and William McLeod.
Okay. Moving forward a few days, do you remember meeting with Megan Boswell again on February 23rd, 2020?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Who was present for that interview?
Sorry, or now Lieutenant Matt Price
Okay. Where did that interview take place?
at the sheriff's office.
Okay. Is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
What was the purpose of that interview?
At that point, we were still speaking with the defendant, trying to get as much information as we could regarding the investigation.
Okay. Had you started developing a timeline at any point?
Yes, that's one thing that we worked on throughout this investigation that is important when you're looking for a missing person to determine their last known whereabouts.
Okay. And were you continually working in and out of the sheriff's department during this time?
Yes,
Did you have a scheduled interview with the defendant on February 25th of 2020?
no, we did not.
Okay. Did you see the defendant that day?
Yes, she showed up at the sheriff's office.
Okay. And is that located in Sullivan County?
It is, yes.
Okay. Did the defendant tell you why she showed up that day?
Initially, or throughout talking with her, she gave a couple of different reasons.
Okay. What did she say?
She was concerned about having her body spray returned to her. She was talking about forming a search party to go to an area she kept referring to as Mendota. and she was asking about whether she would be, or whether there would be any issues with tampering with evidence.
Okay. Did she specify why she was concerned about tampering with evidence?
The defendant told us that someone had told her that she might get arrested for tampering with evidence.
Okay. Had law enforcement heard about Mendota?
Yes, the Mendota had been brought up a few times as a possible place to search.
Okay. Did the defendant at this time show you any concern for Evelyn?
She did not.
Do you recall speaking with her in a different manner to try to get her to give you more information about where Evelyn might be?
I'm sorry, could you clarify that for me?
Did you give her any possible scenarios?
Yes, during the interview of that particular February 25th interview, we discussed with her, were there any other possibilities about the whereabouts of Evelyn? For example, was she aware that something happened and wasn't telling law enforcement?
Okay, what do you mean something happened? Can you describe further what you mean by that?
I was specifically asking her about whether Evelyn had any breathing issues, for example, whether she had stopped breathing at some point, and the defendant just didn't know what to do and hadn't yet reported that to law enforcement.
Okay. What made you decide to suggest this to her?
There were several reasons. Throughout the investigation, we were consulting with our forensic scientist in the lab, as well as the doctors at the William Jenkins Forensic Center about possibilities in child deaths. And some of the issues that had come up were positional asphyxiation.
Okay. You used the word positional asphyxiation. Is that a word you used with the defendant?
In the interview, I don't think I said those specific words.
Okay. Do you know what words or do you recall what specific words you used?
Specifically, I think I just was asking about whether the victim had stopped breathing.
Okay. So you asked her specifically if Evelyn might have stopped breathing. Were you suggesting an accident, or were you suggesting that it was, for lack of a better word, a homicide at this point?
You know, we were open to all types of theories at that point, but we did want to know whether an accident had occurred sometime in the past and she had done something and just not told us about it at that point.
When you discussed these things with her, did she continue to maintain nothing like that had happened?
She did. She denied that there was ever any breathing issues.
Okay. Did she maintain she told you everything?
Multiple times the defendant had told us that she had told us everything that she knew.
Okay. And do you recall that interview ending?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you recall where that interview took place within the building?
It took place in several parts of the building. At one point, we were upstairs in the sheriff's office, and another point, we had walked the defendant downstairs to essentially escort her out of the building.
Okay. So you walked her down yourself?
I believe now Lieutenant Price was with me.
Okay. When you got to the door, did you see anything outside?
Yes, at that time, the news media was just right outside the front door.
Okay. What did you do when you saw them?
We offered out of a courtesy to the defendants, do you want to go out another door so you don't have to face them?
Okay. Did you, in fact, walk her to a different door?
Yes, we walked her out a side door at the sheriff's office.
Okay. And did you see the defendant after that moment?
Yes.
What
Yes,
did you
we
see?
did.
What did you see?
She had walked from that side door back to the front of the building and then gave an interview with the news.
And looking for Evelyn, how many times did law enforcement search that trailer park where the defendant was living with Evelyn?
I know multiple. I know I was there twice, and I know other law enforcement officers had gone in addition to that.
Anything ever found other than the stroller we've already talked about that was helpful to the investigation?
No.
Okay. Can you please tell us how many law enforcement agencies had been called in to help find Evelyn Boswell?
The specific number, I don't know. However, it was a large amount of law enforcement, essentially all of the TBI resources out of the Johnson City office, several from the Knoxville office. Many people from Nashville were helping. I know our aviation unit, several pilots assisted with a plane, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, all of Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, and probably every local agency in the greater East Tennessee area. The United States Marshal Service was involved at times. Our partner agency in North Carolina, the State Bureau of Investigation, assisted, along with the Wilkes County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Was a tip line established in order to try to find Evelyn?
Yes, in scenarios like this, we use a tip line, the number being 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Okay. And do you know approximately how many tips came in during that time?
A couple of thousand.
How does a law enforcement agency determine which leads to follow?
At different times, especially early on in the investigation, we man the tip line with different agents. Different analysts in Nashville are keeping eyes on every tip that go in, and we essentially use our experience and determine which tips that maybe we should look at first and try to prioritize them and continue to working them until we can close them and move on to others.
Okay. Are you confident that every credible lead was followed to the end?
Absolutely.
Okay. And were you given leads based on information that Megan Boswell gave you directly? Individuals to look at?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Did you follow the leads based on information that Megan Boswell gave you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what, like just one at a time, what was one of those leads that she gave you as to where Evelyn was?
So we got the initial story that Evelyn was with Ethan, and us and other law enforcement agencies and the Army CID essentially eliminated that lead.
Okay. Do you feel confident that you were able to eliminate Ethan as a suspect?
Yes.
Okay. What about Angela Boswell?
Same answer. Yes.
Okay. Did you investigate Angela Boswell?
Yes.
Did you investigate her boyfriend, Will McLeod?
Yes, we did.
Based on your investigation, were you able to confidently eliminate Angela Boswell and Will McLeod as suspects?
Objection sustained.
Okay. I'm going to rephrase the question, okay? Were you able to eliminate Angela Boswell and or Will McLeod, her boyfriend, as suspects in this case?
Yes.
Okay. What about Mendota?
Yes, that area was thoroughly searched by multiple law enforcement agencies, and we never found any bit of information or evidence that linked to that area to Evelyn Boswell.
Can you briefly tell the jury what Megan Boswell had told you about Mendota?
The defendant kept referencing campgrounds in Mendota. I wasn't really sure what she meant at the time, but she kept bringing up, you should go to Mendota. And she just kept bringing it up.
Okay. Was Mendota investigated?
It thoroughly, yes.
Okay. Were you able to locate anything of importance to this investigation in Mendota and or at a campground in Mendota?
No, nothing.
Okay. Pass you a document. Ask if you can identify it.
Yes, I recognize this.
Okay. What is it?
This is an application for applying for a residence at Overlook Apartments.
Okay. And can you tell us why you looked at Overlook Apartments?
We were given information that the defendant had applied to live there with her boyfriend,
Okay. Her boyfriend.
Hunter Wood.
Okay. And is that something that was collected from Overlook Apartments?
Yes,
Is that a fair and accurate representation of what was collected from Overlook Apartments?
yes.
Okay. We'd ask that be.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
Objection was withdrawn.
We would ask that be admitted as exhibit number 193.
Before exhibit 193.
And permission to publish. Okay. Oops. Okay. Is this the application you were just talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when they were looking, or does this say, when were they looking to try to get an apartment at Overlook Apartments?
January the 4th, 2020.
Did you learn how many occupants that the defendant and Hunter Wood put on their application?
Yes, 3.
Okay. Did you talk to the defendant about who the third occupant was going to be?
Yes, I did.
Did the defendant say the third occupant was going to be Evelyn Boswell?
No.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
The defendant told us that at that time she was pregnant and the third occupant was for the unborn baby.
Okay. So then did you go one step further and ask her why Evelyn was not listed on that application?
Yes, yes, I did.
Okay, what did she say?
She told us it was not Evelyn because Hunter either would not or did not want Evelyn to live with him.
Okay. Was she able to explain where Evelyn was going to be living then, if not with her and Hunter?
No.
Jumping ahead to March 6, 2020, do you recall being contacted by the defendant's father, Tommy Boswell?
Yes.
And without going into hearsay on what he told law enforcement, did law enforcement go to Tommy Boswell's property?
Yes, initially myself and Detective Haraz.
Okay. And is that located in Blunkville?
Yes, it is.
Do you remember the street name or address?
Muddy Creek at 539/543.
Okay. And is that located in Sullivan County?
Yes, it is.
What was the purpose of going there?
We were under the impression some of the defendant's property was at that location.
Okay. Do you recall what time you arrived at that location?
It was around 5:30 that evening or afternoon.
Okay. And did Tommy Boswell give law enforcement consent to search that day?
He did, yes.
Okay. If I could please have exhibits number 6, 8, 9. Well, 6 and then 8 through 12, please. Pass to the witness, please. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. First, if you could take a look at exhibit number 6. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I
Okay.
recognize this.
What is it?
This is a drawing or a sketch of the scene at 539, 543 Muddy Creek.
Okay. Is there a pointer device up there besides you?
There's a flash.
That's it. Okay. If you could pass the
Yes.
exhibits to me, we'll try to do it that way to make it quicker. It's not a flashlight.
Sorry. Yeah, I thought it was a flashlight.
Okay. We'll try to make it quicker this way. These have already all come into evidence, so we'll just discuss each one. Is this a diagram of the property as it was on March 6th of 2020?
Yes.
Okay, can you show the jury? I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. Can you show the jury where you first searched?
Or you want me to point at that screen?
Yes. It should work. There you go.
Would have been in this area right here. It's excuse me. It is labeled as shed.
Okay. And did you search anywhere else on the property?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us where else you searched?
That building there that's labeled as Playhouse.
Okay. Now I see a box below that also appears to say shed. Do you see that?
I see that, yes.
What was that?
That was another outbuilding that was full of, I believe the business name is Tommy's Paving or something like that. And it was full of paving or asphalt related equipment.
Okay. All right. I'm going to show you next what's been marked as exhibit number 7. Is that the outbuilding that you were talking about a few moments ago?
Yes.
And exhibit number 8. Is that the outbuilding and the playhouse that you were talking about a few moments ago?
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit number 9. Can you tell us what that is?
That is a photograph of the outbuilding or shed where it shows either the defendant's or some of Evelyn's belongings.
It's essentially the shed with the door open.
Correct.
Okay. Number 10. Is this what you're calling, did you call it a playhouse?
That is correct.
Okay. Exhibit number 12. Is that just the playhouse with the door open?
Yes.
Had anything been disturbed at the time this photo had taken place?
No.
I think I might have gotten side orders. Okay. Okay. Were you present for the search of that shed / outbuilding?
Yes.
Okay. Were you also present for the search of the playhouse on the property?
Yes.
And were you aware of whose playhouse that was?
Yes. It was the playhouse of the defendant.
Okay. If I could please have shown exhibits number 13, 14, 16, and 17, or just if I could have this passed to me, please. 13, 14, 16, 17. These have already been admitted into evidence. First, exhibit number 13. If it, okay, I just made it worse. There we go. Okay. Is that how the playhouse appeared as you looked inside?
Yes.
Had anything been moved yet?
No.
Anything you noticed at first glance about this space?
Yes. A lot of the area in the back of the playhouse was covered in dirt, dust, debris, spider webs, and there were several items just right inside the door that it appeared they were placed in the playhouse more recently.
Okay. And which those in just a second. This photo, exhibit number 14, again, how does that appear to you upon first glance when you went to that scene?
That's just a better photograph showing all of the dirt, debris, or other things on top of the belongings in there.
Okay. And then last, I'm going to show you exhibit number 17. Had anything been moved prior to this photograph being taken?
No.
And if you look closely, it's hard to tell. Can you see the black trash bag in this photo?
Yes.
Okay. And again, were you present when the trash bag was removed?
Yes.
Okay. Is this trash bag the way it appeared prior to law enforcement taking it out of the trash can?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to hold on to 17 for just a second. So you stated, I'll put this one back up for just a second. You just stated that a few items appeared out of place. Can you tell the jury or use your pointer on which items you are talking about?
These trash bags
Okay.
right here
Mm-hmm.
and this trash can.
Okay. And can you tell the jury why did those appear out of place to you?
'Cause they weren't covered with any dirt or dust or spider webs.
Okay. So based upon that, did law enforcement make the decision to look closer at some of the items in the playhouse?
Yes.
And which items were looked at closer?
The trash can and the trash bags.
Okay. And who in particular went to take a look at the trash can?
Agent Fraley.
Okay. Is that Brian Fraley with the TBI?
That's correct.
And did you witness Agent Fraley do this?
Yes.
We're going to do this kind of in steps. What did you see Agent Fraley do first?
Just reach in for the trash can.
Okay. And does he pull anything out of the trash can at some point?
Yes.
What does he pull out?
Initially, the bags that were on top.
Okay. And did you notice anything at the time that he pulled the bag on top?
Yes.
What did you notice?
A couple of things. There was some things that looked like flesh in a sort of this part of either an elbow and an arm or the part of a knee and a leg, and noticed immediately the smell of human decomposition.
Okay. Had you noticed that smell prior to that trash bag being removed?
No.
Okay. And again, in looking at this photo, actually, I'll pass that back up. If I could please have number 18 and 19 and 42, please. Okay, this has been previously admitted. With this photo, is that what you were just referencing a few moments ago?
Yes.
Is that before or after the black trash bag was removed?
This photo would have been taken after.
Okay. So So now, did you think that was a baby's leg?
Initially, when I first saw it, I really thought that it might have been a baby doll. It looked like an antique, kind of a flesh color, and it was. It's hard to describe the look of the skin, but it almost did not look real. It had like a shine to it, and as you can tell, it's at least getting dark at this point. We're in the evening, in the wintertime, and we're shining flashlights on it. So I specifically remember that it had like just kind of a shine to it. And initially I thought, is that a baby doll?
Okay. And you said it was dark when you were doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Did you determine that it was not a baby doll?
It was immediately apparent.
Okay. And at that point, what did law enforcement decide to do?
We sort of paused at that point and decided we needed to call some other people in. We made a decision on who was going to perform that search and how it was going to be performed.
Okay. And who did you call in?
Well, we called the forensic center. We would have been calling various supervisors for the relative agencies that were on site.
Okay. And did you remove any items from the playhouse once those individuals arrived?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you remove?
The trash can and the trash bags.
Okay. Let's see. If I could see 42. Did I already ask for that one? I'm sorry. And I'm going to be asking for 22 through 27 in a second, if that helps. Okay. So I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 42. Now, are these items still inside or are they outside the playhouse at this point? Can you tell, or do I need to?
It might help about that helps a little bit.
As far as it goes. It's a little dark on the screen. Would
It
you like to
is.
see the exhibit
Yes,
itself,
that
or the
would
photograph
help.
itself?
That's much better.
22 through 27. Are you able to tell if that is inside or outside the playhouse?
It's just outside the playhouse on a like a perch or a porch area.
Okay. I could have that passed back for just a moment. Okay. And at this point, is Evelyn's body still inside that trash can?
Yes.
Okay. Did law enforcement start the process of removing Evelyn from the trash can?
Yes, we did.
Did that take place there? Or did it take place at the forensic center?
Removing the items in
body.
the trash can.
Yes.
It took place there on scene.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 22. Is this the start of that process?
Yes.
Can you please use your pointer and show us where Evelyn's head would be located in this photograph? Let's see.
I was pointing it the wrong way. It would be down in this area.
Okay. So essentially she was head down in the trash bag. Is that right?
That's correct.
Judge Cliff Roach.
Sustain. General, you can rephrase.
Okay. Was Evelyn in this trash bag?
Yes.
Okay. Where was Evelyn's head?
Are you wanting me to point or no? In this area.
Okay. Can you tell me, well, that's all I need on that one. Okay. Okay. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
This is a continuation of the photographs that were being taken at the time I was taking the photographs.
Okay.
You can see the continued process of removing the contents from the trash can.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of how that looked on that date?
Yes.
We'd ask that be made exhibit number 194. Permission to publish. Okay. Can you tell the jury in particular what you noticed about the trash bag here, if anything?
Yes, this is a really good representation to show how the bag was packed down in the can. As you can see, essentially the outline of the can, the bag has maintained the shape when being pulled out of the can.
Okay. This has already been previously admitted as number 24. Can you tell us what we are looking at here?
This is a continued photograph from the process of removing the items from the bag.
Okay. Is Evelyn in that bag?
Yes.
Can you tell us where her head is located?
Do you want me to use the pointer?
Yes, please.
It would be down in this area here.
Can you tell me what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the body of Evelyn Boswell.
Okay. And can you tell us what we're looking at here? Using the pointer if you need to.
Could you be more specific?
What are we looking at?
Okay. So again, the body is inside of these contents or this blanket. Right here is a blanket. It's grayish, and you can really start to see it's a little difficult to see on the screen with what it's doing with the colors, but right in this area, you're beginning to see the outfit that Evelyn has on. And in addition to that, you're beginning to see the shape of the head of Evelyn right here. And this is aluminum foil that is formed around the victim's head.
Previously marked exhibit number 26. Can you tell the jury what we are seeing here?
This is a photograph of the trash bag after Evelyn's body was removed from the trash bag.
Okay. Again, can you tell the jury what we're looking at here?
Here's the pointer.
Mhm.
This picture, you can see again, the victim is lying here, this being the shape of the head. This is the trash bag. She had just been removed. And at the bottom of the bag were trash contents.
Okay. So what was anything else in that bag that had been removed?
I'm not sure what you mean.
You've got a bag there full of food debris.
Yeah.
Was anything else located in that bag other than that food debris?
Along with the things that were already removed,
What else had been removed?
the blanket with the body and the aluminum foil.
Okay. So Evelyn's body was in that bag.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully it's 34 and 40. I'll show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 34. Can you tell the jury what they are seeing here?
Yes, you can really start to see the outline of the body at this point, of the body of Evelyn. Which right here is the head with the blanket formed to the head. This is the outfit. That is Evelyn's hand. And this is a blanket that is wrapped around Evelyn.
Okay, can you tell us where Evelyn's face is located?
Be right in this area.
Okay. And I'm going to show you one more, previously marked as exhibit number 40. Can you tell the jury what they are looking at here?
Yes, here I was focusing in on the trash can specifically for this item,
Okay.
which was a piece of gum that was stuck to the side of the trash can.
And was that collected?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, after Evelyn's body had been taken out, what was done with the foil, if anything?
The foil was collected and ultimately sent to the TBI lab initially in Knoxville, and later on it was sent to our lab in Nashville.
Okay. Okay. Ask if you recognize that.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
This is a photograph taken later at the Knoxville lab of the aluminum foil that was collected.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of the foil that was collected from the body of Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
We'd ask that be made exhibit number 195.
Any objection?
That was good.
And permission to publish.
Full exhibit one.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at here?
Yes, this is different sheets of aluminum foil. They were stretched out as best that I could without damaging them. And I stretched them out onto a large table at the Knoxville lab and photographed them.
And were those also collected as evidence?
Yes, they were collected that night, and at the time they were at the Knoxville lab, and I believe shortly after that were sent to the Nashville lab.
After Evelyn's body was processed there at Muddy Creek, where did her body go?
It was taken to the forensic center in Johnson City
Okay. And what was the purpose of that?
for Dr. Schmidt to complete an autopsy.
Okay. Did you ever receive confirmation that the remains found in the playhouse were those of missing baby Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't know if this is a good place to stop. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've reached the point where we're going to stop for today.